Hi, I'm Joe of Family Handyman. Today we're going to build a shaker-style nightstand out of poplar. It's going to have a drawer in it, make that out of Baltic birch plywood, put it all together with dowels and glue. Let's get started. First thing up, cut 4 legs from the 2x2 poplar at 27 1/4. Now that I have the legs cut, I designed a taper on the bottom of the leg so you can see it from the side and from the front and back. I also made a jig to make this cut. Let me show you how it works. First thing you want to do is set your saw at 7.5 degrees. The jig is basically a piece of plywood with a clamping cleat on the back so you can clamp it to your miter saw. It also has a fence that you clamp your leg to. Now I have the legs all cut. Time to head over to the table saw. Cut the top, the sides, the back, and the shelf. First, cut your top at 12 by 16.5 inches. Next, cut the shelf at 10 7/8 by 14 1/4 inches. Cut the 2 sides at 5 3/4 by 8 inches, and cut a back at 5 3/4 by 11.5 inches. Now I have all my pieces cut. It's time to mark where I'm going to put the dowel holes on the edge. I like to use an adjustable square. Mark all my top holes and then I'll reset it and then mark my bottom hole. We're going to drill the holes using this dowel jig. Now we're going to move on to the shelf. The shelf is notched out for the legs in all 4 corners, and it's held in place on the stand with a dowel on each notch, okay? So I'm going to drill the hole first before I notch it. And the reason I'm doing that is so I can use the dowel jig. The dowel jig won't work if it's notched out. I'm drilling all 4 of these holes 3/4 of an inch deeper past the notch to accommodate for half the length of the dowel. Before I start assembling this piece, I'd like to sand all the parts. Now I need to drill some holes on top of the leg to accommodate the dowels that I'll attach the top to. These holes need to be a little bit deeper so the dowel sticks out only about 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to start assembling the 2 sides with dowels and glue. And after that, we'll clamp it up. Now I'm cutting the drawer glides. They're 3/4 by 3/4 and 9 inches long, and I'm going to notch the ends of them. Now that we have the drawer glides cut and notched, I'm going to attach them to the sides. Next, we're going to notch out the shelf for where the legs fit. Next, I'm going back to the table saw to cut the notches for the legs. One important safety tip here as you're notching the shelf, on your second cut, stop just before you finish the cut, then break the piece off, then finish the cut. Now I have the shelf notched, it's time to assemble the piece with glue and dowels. Now we're going to throw some clamps on it. Next, I'm going to mark and drill the dowel holes on the underside of the top. Attach the top with dowels and glue. Now I'm going to head back to the table saw and cut the drawer parts, the front, the back, and the two sides for the drawer box, as well as the bottom. Now I'm going to cut a dado groove 1/4 inch deep into the side and front of the drawer box. Now I have all the drawer parts cut. I'm going to assemble it with glue and nails. Now we're on the home stretch of this project, is the finishing. You can choose to stain it a color or not. I'm going to stain mine with a black water-based dye and then do a wipe-on poly over the top of that. Now I have all the finish on the stand. I'm going to mount the drawer front, but before I do that, I'm going to pre-drill the holes for the drawer pull. How I like to attach the drawer front is with double-faced tape on the drawer box, and then I cut shims, 1/8 inch shims for the sides and for the top, and then I actually hold the drawer front on with the screws of the drawer pull. There you have it. Nice new bedroom nightstand. Take your time, have fun with this project. For more projects like this, visit us at familyhandyman.com.